Hello, everybody. Excuse me. How y'all doing today? Yeah, I'm kind of got a little tickle in my throat, a little bit of heavy chest. Um, our storm definitely came through yesterday and is still around. It's supposed to. Actually, I just remembered that the excuse me. Uh, um, National Weather Service put out an alert yesterday that the winds, I think they're supposed to be ending at like 8 o'clock tonight or something like that, or at least the advisory ends at that time. I'm not sure, but anyway, somewhere around that time. So, yeah, a little bit funky today. And we definitely have some clouds going through. Um, but yeah, and of course, it's flaring me up with everything. That's some, I mean, yeah, there's some stuff or whatever, but it's just I just keep coughing and so forth. But anyway, I did get back to doing my yoga yesterday, my yoga stretches. That felt really good. I hadn't been doing them for a while, for various reasons, over a week basically. Um, but so yeah, and I'm gonna see about doing them today. Again, after I get done recording this video and start uploading it, it takes a while to upload these videos, unfortunately, because I have, with where I'm at, I'm having to use, and with the financial situation that I'm in, I'm having to rely on their internet service, and it's the complex's internet service, and it's terrible. It doesn't help either. We're right in the flight path of the airport, so constantly getting interruptions. And with it being Friday, especially Super Bowl weekend, yeah, there's going to be a lot of airport activity and so forth. So, oh, excuse me. Um, so yeah, there's going to be a lot of interference and so forth. So it might take several hours for this video to upload because of it. I know it sucks, and I don't want to do it on my phone, and partly because I would need to use the data, and I do need to go to the grocery store. It is a little bit of a distance, but it's still within walking distance. And I'm trying to save money right now as much as possible. I do have my food stamps, so I'm using those. It's not much, but I'm trying to, of course, conserve on my cash money, basically, that I have. mm, I know, just tickle, 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 tickle. Um, I did check out the information that the American Diabetes Association sent to me yesterday. Um, so there are some good resources, excuse me, as far as that is concerned. And I did check out as far as the daily car rental is concerned. Unfortunately, I do have to go through Uber in order to be able to do that. I just can't go to the airport. I tried just going to the airport to renting a car, but these days now they all require these substantial deposits. Whereas with this one service that Uber has partnered up with, um, it doesn't look like that they're requiring that, as far as I can see, anyway. Yeah. um, so, and I uh, do have some money coming. It's not a whole lot. Um, but it would be enough to cover a weekly rental. So either that or possibly maybe down payment, maybe for another car, at least maybe a small down payment or something. I don't know. I haven't quite looked into much of anything just yet. Uh, as far as because with where I'd need to be going, as far as the Mayo Clinic location is concerned, is in Minnesota. and they're still in the middle of winter. I do have some experience driving in ice and snow, but not that kind of ice and snow. Even if I got a different job other than what I'm doing right now, it would still require me to have to be able to, um, tra- have some sort of transportation or whatever to get to and from work. So that's what, yeah, I'm just kind of like, okay, if maybe I can ride things out here for a while, um, to until get through the winter season. um, I realized that, of course I would need to get situated up there, transfer my driver's license, all that sort of stuff. And then, of course, get on some form of insurance up there and then make the appointment and everything. But at least with writing things out here, it helps, get through that winter season. One more. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. And it also will help me get some things settled here, make some decisions. I did look into renting a moving truck, driving it myself. Um, and those prices have gone up quite substantially. So yeah, there's no way that I would be able to go that route. But if I can maybe secure a car here, and of course get through the winter season and so forth, then the items that I would really like to be able to take with me, I would have a car where I could pack it, um, and basically pretty much just get rid of everything else. So otherwise, taking things and throwing them in storage and going down that road again. And unfortunately, I had to give up my storage unit. I had a ton of stuff, and my body just gave out. I was pushing, 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 and I was trying everything I possibly could, especially there at the last minute, to try and get caught up on that payment. And my body just gave out. I just couldn't do it anymore. It was a very tough decision, very, very tough, because there were some items I still would have liked to have been able to get out of there, but once you're locked out, that's it. So I had to let it all go. It was very heartbreaking, to say the least. But there's some items here that I have. Some of them were family heirlooms, some things that were kind of precious to my mom and so forth. Sorry. But what's done is done. But I still have some items here I very much would like to be able to take with me, um, that I have collected, over the years. I realize they're just things, but they mean a lot to me, you know, and I've lost so much throughout all this. Um, it makes it even not just, losing things. I wasn't going to talk about this. um, it isn't just things that I have lost, but throughout all this, I've lost friends and family. People, they just they just don't understand. Um, I've had people telling me that it's just psychological, or at least trying to indicate that and so forth. And it's like, no, um, you know, and I think the hardest thing is people, with not understanding and so forth. It's like on the one hand they're still yelling, basically. Some cases, literally, you still have to pay your bills. Yeah, I get that. I understand all of that. But it's kind of difficult to do, when you can't breathe. I mean, you're asking somebody with a breathing condition, and it isn't just a matter of, okay, take a puff on an inhaler and then be done with it. It isn't that simple. Unfortunately, inhalers haven't been working, and the medical care here is so awful. I, I it's makes it difficult to be able to get any sort of help. And I keep it and ask the question, you should be on allergy medication, or maybe allergy shots. No, that's never even been discussed. Um, or do you have a nebulizer? No, I don't. All I've been given is steroids, basically, and it's not helping. And basically, it's like, okay, I'm still having difficulties breathing, and I can't do full medication that's being prescribed because of the side effects. It's too much for my body. And to tell you the truth, I think what it boils down to is they're trying to attack it, using what sort of resources that are available to try and attack it. And unfortunately, it's not getting to the cause. And that's where the research is coming in to try and get to, try and take care of the cause. It's just like with AIDS, basically, with people who have been battling with that for years, if not decades. It's like, especially initially, everybody was dying because there was nothing available. And they were just trying to patch things up as best they can. Same thing, just trying to patch things up as best as possible and going from there. Until we can actually get some medications or something to help with the root cause, which of course is COVID. I know now definitely it's long COVID that I'm dealing with, which I'm getting to here in a second. Um, I'll admit that, of course, without my car, and everything, that doesn't help matters. It's like I'm getting restless and bored. I did get back to doing my sewing yesterday a little bit, something that I had sewed up yesterday. I mean, not yesterday, but last year, excuse me, is this. Yeah, the fan I took from, it was part of a pattern, a kind of cross stitch pattern. Um, and then the hearts, flowers, and vines, all that, I made up myself. This is some lace. It's got a little bit of a pink ribbon running through it. This is a lace that I had, some leftover or whatever that I had laying around. So I'm teaching myself. I never learned how to do something. This is actually going to be a sachet pillow once it's done. So, I'm still basically sewing up two together and doing the lace. And it's just going to be a little decorative sachet pillow, basically, after everything is done. So I got the top part sewed up last night. Basically, what you do is you take and turn it inside out and sew the three sides up with the sewing machine, and then sew the last side by hand. But I'm sewing it all by hand so I can learn. I never learned how to do that sort of stitching, so I'm doing that. I'll show it to you after everything is said and done too. So I wanted to learn. I wanted to sew it all up by hand so I could learn how to do that stitching. I still think I'd like to maybe be able to open up an Etsy store doing things like that. But we'll see. I have a lot of things up in the air. I still want to be able to teach yoga and so forth too. But yeah, I know a lot of things are up in the air, and that's all stuff that I would be able to do up there as well. Excuse me. But anyway, I figure I'd take this time and get back to doing my sewing projects. Um, That's how I do have time now. And while I'm waiting for that money to come in, so I can get back to doing um, my work. I still have a little bit of that other money, and I'm just trying to give things a little bit of time. Got my fingers crossed that maybe next week I still have that other money where I can rent a car daily. It's expensive, and that's one of the reasons why I keep holding off. Because by the time everything is said and done, it's almost eaten up all my earnings that I would be. Right. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with all of that, trying to make that decision. Should I or shouldn't I? I don't know, maybe if I can on Sunday when the Super Bowl happens, at least it would be busier and maybe I can recoup money a little bit better on that day. I don't know. I'll have to see. And I know right now people are going to be holding on to their money until um, everything is said and done. So, just kind of playing things by ear right now. Um, I will admit, last night, I did go through. I'd had the door open. It's weird. I will just, I'll just be sitting, I won't be doing anything, and then all of a sudden I'll just start feeling like I can't breathe, and I have to have open up a door or something, or go outside, and just try and get some air, some fresh air. It just happens out of nowhere. It's almost it's a lot like a panic attack. That's what it feels like, but it's not a panic attack. But it's the same sort of thing. And it happened with me last night. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need air. So I opened up the door and I was sewing on my thing, um, and I was just sitting there on the sofa in the living room, and I'm just like, I'll admit, the depression was starting to set in, also at the same time, and it was just so weird. There's this one couple, the elderly couple, retired, and they have a couple dogs. They moved in a couple doors down about a month ago, something like that. And all of a sudden, she shows up at my door. And it was just, and she's just like, "You got is that cat that's always sitting out here? Is that your cat?" And I'm like, "Oh, let me see if it's the same cat." And I showed her a picture. She's like, "Yeah, it's the cat," and everything. And I'm like, "Well, she's really shy, and and this and that and everything." So we were talking and so forth, and it was just so weird how she just showed up out of the blue. And at the same time, I'm really seriously depressed at this point. And it was just like, okay, So I'm like, okay, spirit message received. Hang in there. Because I was getting depressed because the campaign isn't going well. And if you've been over there, you see that. Um, getting depressed about, okay, I'm just not going to be going, I'm not just like, screw it, I'm just going to stay here, take my chances, all this sort of stuff and everything. And then she showed up, and it was just like, okay, spirit message received. I get it. Okay. And yesterday, as far as numerology is concerned, yesterday's 2 day, which is all about partnership. So, okay, message received. So, and then I remembered one of the things with GoFundMe that they recommend is that you find support groups. Um, that reach out to them, talk to them, find out if anybody's done a campaign, all this sort of stuff. What sort of things they did, and everything. And it was just like, okay, it'd probably be a good idea. So I just went out there on Facebook and typed in long COVID support groups. and there's one that popped up, and it's the biggest one up there on Facebook, and there's this whole descriptor, and it is a public group. They do have a prompt for you to answer questions, and then you do have to submit your email, and you also have to um, um, do some sort of like introduction or what have you of some sort. Either share a picture, your favorite picture, or write a quick statement or what have you. It's like, okay. And I went up on, and they also had the founder of the group also started a blog. Very professionally done, very nicely done. And I used to be a graphic designer, so yeah, I can recognize professionalism when I see it. So anyway, I went up there and I started reading about reading all the posts, the testimonials, people asking questions. Hey, has anybody had this happen? Anybody, has anybody been prescribed this medication? And so on. That the big thing that really jumped out at me was people asking, hey, have you been diagnosed with fibromyalgia since having COVID? What was it with the questionnaire from Mayo? It's like, oh shit, okay. But it's interesting because, of course, people were talking about the brain fog, people were sharing their lab results, so on and so forth. And I went over onto the blog as well, and I'm reading all of the blog posts, and some of it is clinical trials, some of it is explanations about things, especially brain fog, which I've been dealing with, and depression, anxiety, this and that, and everything, and I'm just like, I'm reading all of this stuff and everything, and I'm like, holy shit. It is long COVID that I have been dealing with. It's confirmed my suspicions that I'm probably that I most likely had COVID, that Omicron variant that was going around at that time. And have been dealing with long COVID ever since. And it just helped to settle my mind with everything, and to feel like I'm not alone, because unfortunately I have been alone these last couple of years with dealing with all of this, and it felt good to know that I'm not alone. So um, that was huge. That was really, really huge, because like I said, I've lost friends and even family who just, they're basically all yelling at me, you need to support yourself, you need to pay your bills and this and that. But, it's like trying to get blood out of a turnip, especially when you feel like you're on death's door. And I felt like that I was that way. And another thing that I learned throughout all of it is with reading other people's posts and so forth too, is that some people are getting false lab results back as well. One lady was asking if anybody else was getting false lab reports regarding their results are showing that they have high concentrations of mold in their system. And so her and her husband paid for thousands of dollars, basically. Unfortunately, they're in New Jersey where things aren't cheap, and they spend like $3,000 having their property tested, their entire property tested for mold, and it all came back negative. And yet her lab results are showing that she has high concentrations of mold in her system. So there's a lot of that's going on. And I was also saying that basically there is one treatment that is available. It is cannabis based, which I am very, weary of personal reasons and also medical reasons. Where that basically their research with that company is showing that with what COVID does is it messes with your body's thermostat. And that's the point of the treatment that they're putting out, is it helps to re-regulate your body's thermostat. And it does, and is shown with other blog posts and so forth, or Facebook posts and so forth that were in that group, is that it does trigger um, things to be set off in your body, like the fibromyalgia. And that made me think about the situation with my diabetes, because I was showing no symptoms of diabetes beforehand. And then all of a sudden, 4 months later, I become a type 1 diabetic. It's like, okay. And one of the things that my original endocrinologist that I was seeing had um, mentioned when my lab results came back showing that I definitely tested positive for the antibody that causes type 1 diabetes. He said that usually if you get it type 1 later on in life, I was 48 when I was diagnosed, it's usually because it's triggered by something that happened in the body. Hello. What happened 4 months beforehand? Right. So it could be that I became a diabetic because of COVID. So, hey, I'm clearing up. I know. Finally, right when I need to wrap this video up. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to share all of this with you guys. Go to, oh shoot, I'll put the links in the description of this video, and at least on Instagram, Facebook, and so forth. I know you're limited with Twitter. Excuse me, Twitter/X. Um, but I'll make sure that I put those links, the link for the Facebook group and for the blog, in the description for this video. Okay, so if you're dealing with long COVID or know somebody who is, or they suspect that they are, whatever, go check those out. I'll at least put the Facebook in the description, and then you can get their link for the blog is right there on their page. Wealth of information, huge. I mean, it was huge. It really dropped a bombshell on me last night, but it was a good bombshell, a really, really good bombshell. So, and I will admit, it's helping me to drive myself to pursue this avenue even that much more. And like I said in one of my previous videos, yes, I realize the help is going to be limited, but if it helps aid in the research and maybe helping to find more long-term solutions, it can be worth it. I still feel that my homeopathic remedies are helping, so I'm going to continue with them. I did start back up also with doing my essential oil blend last night. I woke up feeling better this morning. I know I wasn't sounding like it, but I was feeling better. Basically, it's a combination of sweet almond oil and lavender oil. Make sure you get organic or from good sources. Okay, just don't go to Walmart or your local grocery store and buy anything off the shelf, because they have a lot of impurities. It's not a very well regulated industry. So get organic, or as close to organic as you possibly can, because at least it's being regulated better. But lavender oil and rose oil, if you can tolerate them. Okay, because I know everybody has different sensitivities. Um, just put a little bit of drops in a jar, glass jar, swish it up, massage it in, and especially in through here to help with inflammation. That was another thing too that people were mentioning, the constant dripping problems, postnasal drip issues. It's like, hello. So yeah, I see my time here, so I need to wrap this up. So anyway, I hope you all are getting something out of all of this, and it's helping, and so forth. And I hope that you all have a really great day. And if I don't talk to you this weekend, you have a good rest of your weekend too. Okay, love you all.